It's been a while since I've seen market sentiment this negative. The fear in the crypto market right now is more intense than it's ever been in the past few months. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, we are testing back down to the low 30,000 range once again. And this is obviously causing some intense fear in the markets. People are on the edge of their seat waiting for a major plunge in the price. And in today's video, I have two main topics of discussion. So the first topic of discussion is the potential that the whales that played out this Wyckoff distribution at the top may be doing something similar down here at the bottom, where whales are going to sustain prices at these lower levels to maximize accumulation to keep fear as high as possible before running the price back up and sustaining prices at this low level without a major capitulation candle, just like we didn't have a major blow off top. And the second topic of discussion is going to be a potential chart pattern that may play out for Bitcoin over the next many months called three peaks in a domed house. All of this and more in today's video. Today on Twitter, I said top players in the Bitcoin market used Wyckoff distribution without a blow-off top for months to sustain positive sentiment to maximize profit taking, right? And that's, if you look at the Bitcoin chart back here, that's what happened. They kept the price at a very high level and put in slightly higher highs to keep the market sentiment positive, to keep people bullish while the whales were scaling out of the market. That's what Wyckoff distribution is used for. And that maximizes their profit taking ability. And the next part of this tweet, I said, could we expect the same on the downside? Sustaining low levels without a capitulation candle to maximize accumulation. Because right now, it seems like everybody is expecting a major crash in the Bitcoin price. But just like this area here near 60,000, we sustained prices up there without any major blow off top. And as I displayed in my previous videos, this peak here in 2021 is the only flat top. Every other peak in Bitcoin history was a blow-off top every single time. So my point here in this tweet, I was saying, could we expect the same to the downside where everyone's thinking we're going to get a major blow-off bottom, a major dump in price, but in reality, just like the 65K area, we just sustain prices at low levels to maximize fear and maximize accumulation for the whales before continuing back to the upside and recovering. The second topic of discussion is the possibility that Bitcoin may right now be playing out a famous stock chart pattern called three peaks in a domed house. The model of this pattern shows three peaks followed by a major dump into what's called the basement or a bear trap, followed by a recovery into the first floor, sideways action along those previous three peaks, and after that, a major run to the roof or the next bull trap, the end of the bull market essentially, followed by the plunge, if you guys can see this on the screen there, the plunge at the end. So that's the model of three peaks in a domed house. Thomas Bulkowski also talked about this in some writings before, crediting George Lindsay from 1971 as the person who discovered this pattern. Now, this is a slightly uncommon pattern, but it is a famous chart pattern that has been observed in the markets many times. One famous chart that has been displayed before showing this pattern is the 2010 going into 2011 gold chart. Now, this is the daily chart for gold 2010 going into 2011. We see a major run up in price followed by 1, 2, 3 peaks, a major pullback followed by a move back up to those previous three peaks, a consolidation, and a breakout to the roof, right? The bull trap. This is one of the most famous examples of this pattern. And the extremely interesting thing is if you're looking at this side of the pattern, guys, this area of this pattern, doesn't it look a little familiar? Doesn't it almost look exactly like the current top for Bitcoin? Let's flip back to the Bitcoin chart on the daily. Very interesting that it's almost the same type of market structure. Gold had that initial run up followed by the three peaks and a pullback to the presumed basement, right? Reminding you the model here, three peaks, the basement, the first floor, and the roof. I do have this pattern currently mapped out on the Coinbase chart. So check it out, guys. This is essentially what we could expect if this three peaks in a domed house pattern was going to play out for Bitcoin. And it's very similar to the gold market structure. So these would be the three peaks, right? followed by the pullback to the current basement, which is where we are now. George Lindsay says the basement is essentially a bear trap, and we currently have tons of negative investor sentiment. So it would be a pretty good bear trap if we did actually continue with a move up to the first floor. And that would mean over the next month or two, we would expect a move back up towards the $50,000 to $60,000 level to form our first floor. And this could potentially lead us into a final mania phase all the way up to the $200,000 level, which is a potential price target for Bitcoin in this bull cycle. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be, kind of angry at me that I'm so bullish right now, that I'm talking about this bullish pattern. But I just want to remind you guys that sometimes when you make a good call about the market, you're met with the most pushback. You're met with the most criticism, right? Like I was bearish in the beginning of 2018. People hated me. I was bearish at the top of the 2019 market. People hated that as well. And I was bullish at the March crash low. People hated that as well. And right now, people really hate the fact that I'm bullish down here at this, after this pullback, after this 55% correction. People don't understand why I'm bullish. But guys, normally throughout Bitcoin history, after a 55% correction, being bullish is usually the right move. And right now, I think the crypto market is seeing price suppression. The S&P 500 today is rocketing back to the upside, right? We're seeing, a major pushback up, 1.29% for the S&P to the upside. And if you're looking at the S&P chart now from the trend line that stems back from the beginning of November 2020, we are actually pushing back up, attempting to move back above this trend line. So the S&P is still remaining fairly stable, punching back to the upside today. I also mentioned that the DXY, the US dollar index, looking at the weekly chart here, we are starting this week off with a lower high, a rejection, guys. Look at this, right? So on this weekly, the DXY might be forming a lower high. We'll see. So the DXY is moving down. That's good for asset prices. The S&P 500 is moving up today, but Bitcoin seems to be suppressed. Bitcoin seems to be stuck down here in the basement, right? And like I said on Twitter, I said it's only a matter of time before crypto starts changing direction back up. Yes, I am still bullish at this low point. And I know a lot of people are giving me criticism right now for being bullish at the low or at the the presumed low point for Bitcoin. So all of that's pretty interesting to me. That is an indicator in of itself. And yes, guys, this tweet that I posted yesterday about the 3 peaks in a domed house chart pattern is blowing up, getting over 1,000 likes here, a lot of retweets. Pretty interesting to see people discussing this now. I haven't seen anybody else talk about this yet. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this chart pattern does play out. I think there's a strong potential that it could. So guys, let me know in the comments section what you think about this potential 3 peaks in a domed house chart pattern. This is the bullish case for Bitcoin that I am presenting to you guys right now. And according to this model, this would mean that we are currently in the basement, currently in the bear trap, the area of maximum opportunity for what could be the next major mania phase in the crypto market. So I also just want to remind you that on log scale, Bitcoin is still in an uptrend. It's getting a little bit dicey right now. This is the new weekly, and we are coming below this trend line. But as long as Bitcoin does bounce off this low and closes this weekly back above the trend line, then we could see a major recovery from this point. Of course, if Bitcoin does fall below 30,000, then the bearish case does pick up a lot more steam. And this would actually mean that we may be entering a bear market. But as of right now, Bitcoin does have a shot at continuing this bull market. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.